Hi. Well, I'm making this video, it's only a brief one, to sort of follow up on the first video that I did. In my first video, if you haven't seen it, I had my new iPad with me and I was trying to sort of be aware really of the fact that there is a cost to making these products, any of these products, whether it's the iPad or not. And that's all I was trying to do. And I'm really pleased to see that you know a number of people have read it. Now, 2 people have made comments about it. The first person commented that you know, the point that I was trying to make was probably diluted a bit because I was holding an iPad, and of course the reality is that there are so many other companies, a whole list of other companies. This isn't about Apple. And I think that's absolutely true. The second person who commented seemed a bit more angry and said that they felt I was probably just trying to show off my new iPad. They're probably correct, that's probably true, but at least I've got the guts to try and raise other issues. I could have come on and just shown off my iPad and done nothing else, so it sounds as though that person's probably jealous that they don't have an iPad. So there are all sorts of emotions here, I think, and this is really interesting. This is what really fascinates me and interests me, that it's a dilemma for so many of us. I do enjoy owning an iPad, or any of these other gadgets, even this camera, but hopefully I've got the courage to come on and be honest about the fact that I'm not perfect, and I'm human. And I have failings, and I suppose in trying to sort of make this video, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be one human being who sits here and says, yeah, actually I'm part of the problem. And I try and put my hands up to that. Yeah, I'm so sick of so many of these videos where people come on and they're pointing at a problem, but they're not owning it for themselves. They're not saying, actually, this is my human frailty, or this is my imperfection. And that is the problem. We're all disowning it. So many people, not all of us, so many people are disowning it. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to sit here and say, yes, I am a Westerner. I do love showing off my new gadget, and I am a bit enamoured with all of this technology and everything. But at the same time, I'm recognising that isn't always good. And there are problems with that. If people shoot me down for that, fair enough. But what's the point? I'm already trying to sort of, show my imperfection. And I think this is exactly what we should be doing. This is exactly what I'm hoping to promote in some ways. A dialogue around that, where we stop pointing the finger at other people. And we start owning up and admitting to our own imperfections. And I think the world would be a much better place if we did. I heard Steve Jobs, there's a news item today about Steve Jobs, and he said, that the factory has got, my gosh, he says, it's got rest. And I like Steve Jobs. I think he's a brilliant man. And I think his products are amazing. The technology is amazing. But he's come on and said, my gosh, they've got restaurants and gyms at this factory. Oh, so, that's not the point. People are committing suicide. There's something clearly wrong. Why point the finger each time? Why say that I'm not part of the problem? We're all part of the problem. And until in developed countries like mine, I live in the UK, until we can stand there and say, yes, I'm part of the problem, and not be ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of being imperfect. At least I've got a willingness to want to try and change, and I've got a willingness to want to become something better. I've got a willingness to want to face up to my own limitations. But by denying our limitations and pretending they don't exist and going off into our heads about some academic argument, I think we all lose. And I think the people who are suffering in other countries, and are working in sweatshop conditions. I'm not suggesting that is the case at Foxconn, but there are plenty of other countries and companies where that is the case. Unless we own our own difficulty, our own limitations, we can't begin to start the process of change. We'll just keep going off into our heads about academic arguments and everything. And that's all I'm trying to do is come on here, and what I haven't done here is just shown off my iPad in my previous video, but I haven't just sat there and pointed the finger and said how terrible these conditions are. I'm trying to be honest and open and say I am part of the problem, and I want to do something about that. And it's a small, imperfect start. But I don't want to be like these other people. I don't want to be in one of these two camps, either not talking about it or just talking about it but not owning it. I've got a lot of growth to do, and I've got a lot to understand in the world, and I've got a lot to change about myself. There's an awful lot I don't know, and there's an awful lot I shut my mind off to. And I'm trying not to do that. I'm making small steps and small attempts not to do that. So I hope, what do I hope? I hope that this second video maybe takes forward a little bit what I was trying to say in my first video. And again, it's not perfect. I've probably made loads of mistakes in this video, but what the hell, I'm giving it a go. Most importantly, as I say, I don't want to point the finger at other people. I think change starts with me. It starts with all of us. And by admitting my own imperfection and my own limitations, I'm hopefully putting my hands up to all of this and saying, I want to do something to change this. And if you feel the same as I do, then how about self-ownership? How about all of us admit that maybe we can do a bit better? And maybe we don't need to be like this, and we can stop bashing Apple or bashing somebody else. We can start making the changes ourselves, and lobby politicians or whoever. So there you go, another imperfect video, but I'll see if anyone watches this and see what the response is, and if there's a bit of a response, I'll make another video. I feel really strongly about this. I feel strongly about personal growth and personal change, and admitting our imperfectness, admitting our humanity, really, because I think unless, as an iPad owner or a Canon G9 owner, or I've got an LG television over there, unless I could admit my own humanity and my own failings, I'll just keep being a consumer. I'll just keep consuming and not really think of the cost. So in a very small, imperfect way, I'm trying to do something here, and it would be great to see if people pick up on that, and if this can sort of grow a little bit for my benefit, as much as anybody else's. I'm doing it primarily for my own self-interest. I don't want to shut my ears and eyes to any of this, and this is my little way of trying to make a contribution. So anyway, there you go, that's it. Thanks for listening.